obviously 2019 and 2020 is when you did your
I flew around
gyrocopter
the world. Yeah,
fly.
that
Yeah, you
was.
flew around the world. I was really
That was
interested about that because it's something I've never seen before.
actually, if you
Obviously,
at some point, if you come down, I'll
yeah.
take you flying. Um,
Oh,
you'd
that'd be
probably
great.
quite like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that
yeah,
was amazing. Actually, that was probably the hardest project I've ever worked on. I had to raise a huge amount of money to make that happen. It was like logistically quite complex to a degree. I was very lucky. I had a good support team back at home that was sort of helping me, who I was in
yeah,
contact with every day. But it was that people said to me, "Oh, that's going to be easy. You got an engine, right? All you got to do is sit there and fly it, easy peasy." But it's
yeah, yeah,
not, because you can't afford to have a mistake, because gravity will absolutely kill you. Um,
yeah, yeah,
so you're always, trying to play it safe, um, and it's actually quite stressful, because the way to explain it is, remember when you first start learning how to drive, you come home from your driving lessons and you're completely and utterly mentally exhausted because you've been concentrating so much.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like that. So you might only be flying for, you might be in the cockpit, because I had an open cockpit aircraft as well. So I had a screen in front of me.
yeah,
There's no roof, so you're exposed to the elements.
yeah, yeah,
Um, you're you're kind of like running on adrenaline when you're flying, and you're quite tired when you land. You're all hyped up, but then like an hour or so or 2 hours after you landed, I was just knackered because I was like
yeah,
crashing.
yeah.
So it was quite hard. And actually, when I got into America, I landed in every single mainland state. So I didn't just fly across. I basically sort of zigzagged the whole way across.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The only American state I did not go to was Hawaii, and that's because
Okay.
I didn't have the range to get there.
Yeah,
But again, the people that I met flying across Russia was unbelievably awesome. Like proper frontier country where, for hundreds of miles in some parts of it, there was just no one around. That was good. Flew in America. It was quite easy once I got into America, because
yeah,
flying is very much a sort of a standard thing over there. Loads of people fly in America, like light
yeah, yeah,
aircraft. It's not like over here. If you
yeah,
fly a light aircraft, people are like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" Whereas it's totally standard over there. I flew past the Statue of Liberty. I flew under the Golden Gate
yeah,
Bridge.
yeah. Yeah, I've
It was
seen that.
just
It's pretty
amazing.
good.
And then I came
'Cause,
back. Actually, sorry, Karen.
I was going to say, because was it from that you got you were given an official Guinness World Record for that, weren't you?
It's
Is it
funny, yeah.
longest
Actually, yeah, I was given it,
fast?
and before I came on the call with you this evening, I was actually they called me up actually because my certificate's ready. Yeah, I did. They
Okay.
did give me a Guinness World Record for the first officially ratified flight around the world in a gyro. So that was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool. And actually, but the main mission again was very similar to the cycle. Like I get quite a lot of enjoyment out of meeting people. So the goal was to inspire 1 million young people to sort of pursue their own goals and dreams.
yeah,
And so where I could, in Russia, I think I did 4 different schools. I stopped and spoke in schools and things, and just sort of shared my story with kids, and that was probably the best part. That was one of the best parts about it. The flying was incredible, and again, I could get into technical detail of how I did things, but that would probably go over a lot of people's head if they don't
yeah,
fly. It was not really going to mean
yeah,
much.
yeah. I think that makes the
But
experience, though, doesn't it?
it
That
was
makes the
incredible.
experience
Yeah,
like
every
meeting
day I had
people.
every day I knew where I wanted to fly to. Um, I had sort of a team of people at home monitoring me. Yeah, and it was every time I landed, I actually had to get someone to sign a bit of paper to to certify that I was actually there doing what I was doing. This is like a witness signature to claim the
Yeah,
record. Um, but again, I just met so many amazing, kind people that I. But here's the crazy thing: it's all a distant memory now. It's like in
yeah,
2019. Well, 2021
yeah,
now, and it's gone. I mean,
yeah,
the new book is coming out pretty
yeah,
soon. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this with your obviously with the flying, like you basically went was it from nothing to what you did in less than 2 years, or about 2 years?
Yeah, I learnt to fly, and yeah, I think I had, yeah, so 2 years before I set off, I had no flying experience, and that
Yeah.
actually, that's kind of generally unheard of. For someone to learn how to fly to then fly around the world doesn't really happen. Typically, people who fly around the world are people that have been flying for a long time, they have a huge amount of experience, and they decide to go and do it. So what I was doing was a little bit backwards. But I was very lucky. I had some good sort of mentors around me who had a lot of experience themselves. And again, this goes back to what I was saying about you have to be careful who you listen to, because there's a lot of people that actually have very good intentions. They want to help you, but and they'll talk at you, and they'll tell you
Yeah.
exactly what you need to do, and then you actually realise that they don't have anywhere near as much experience as they're actually sort of trying to perhaps portray. And so
Yeah.
I was quite lucky. I had some people who said, look, what you're trying to do is pretty, it's relatively high risk because you have low experience. However, if you do these things and you do these safely, and you sort of have your, your protocol of, if something doesn't feel right, you turn back, you land, you don't take any risks. It's always better to fly another day than it is to crash the thing and kill yourself. So, so safety was always on my mind, and then, but you just learn as you go. You get more experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
what was sort of the process of getting your license? Is it very similar to getting a private helicopter license, or is
Yeah,
it
very
classed as?
similar.
Yeah.
It's a PPL. It's called a PPL so it's a private pilot's license for gyros.
Yeah.
So just like a small plane PPL,
Yeah.
or learning to fly helicopters, it's very similar.
Yeah.
So it took me about 4 months, I think, to get my license. But then I was flying a lot. It was like kind of different because it was my job. I was very lucky actually. I secured some funding from a couple of companies that said, you know what, we think this is a really amazing thing to be involved with. We will help you. And that enabled me to purchase the aircraft. And then once I had the aircraft, I just put fuel in it. I was flying almost every day. So I racked up a lot of hours very quickly. So very quickly I gained what takes most people years, I gained in 6 months to a year. So
Yeah.
whilst I hadn't been flying that long before I left, I had actually built up a lot of experience really, really quickly. And because I had good people, the company that built the aircraft, a company called Magni, and the UK arm of Magni is a couple of guys that I know very well. And they're both really, really experienced guys, and I was just lucky to have them sort of mentoring me. And then I was able to get some support off another guy who flew around the world in a helicopter. He kind of supported me. So yeah, all the things that you think are a challenge, are going to be difficult, can be overcome, and you can find ways to do it. But you have to understand that when you put yourself out there and you want to do these big things, you might have some people say, well, that's crazy, you shouldn't be doing that. But you've got to stay focused and block everything out and just focus on what you need to do and what's important to achieve your objective. And anything outside of that is noise. Just don't listen to it. Just focus. And so that project I had to really focus on that project to fly around the world. Yeah.